Hey guys, welcome back. I'm here to do a follow-up video to the Read It or Unhaul It vlog that I did for spring break. That video ended up turning into kind of a spring cleaning themed video where I ended up just cutting ties with a lot of books, and I feel so good about that. Of course, the books I talked about within that vlog are in this, but there's also quite a bit more because I just got done filming mini bookshelf tours. It's a series that I filmed basically in 2 days. There's 14 segments to the videos, so if you would like, you can subscribe and hit the bell and be notified when I post those if that's something that you're interested in. I know y'all love bookshelf tours. Those are some of the most popular videos on my channel, so thought they would keep you company over the summer while I'm quite busy. So anyways, while I did that, I also found some problems, some books that I just don't need on my shelf. So those ended up in the pile. I thought that we would go through that pile now, and I will also share which ones I'm going to be taking to my buy-sell trade store and which ones that I know are not going to be interested in that are going to go to a little free library. And then I suppose we'll have to do some follow-up videos of my trade-in credits and what I ended up acquiring, and then like a little free library vlog. That would be fun. Let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to adjust. Other than the cat, this is the corner where I put all the books that I don't want anymore that are going out. These books in these bags are not part... This bag is books that I have not taken to my buy-sell trade store that I have unhauled in other months. In this bag and in this bag are books that they either were not interested in or they're just too beat up, they're not going to be interested in them. So those books are going to go to the little free library. And this is the stack of books that we're going to talk about in this video that I have decided to unhaul for the month of March. I'm trying to hurry up because I know my son's going to walk in the door very soon. Okay, the first are these three. They are part of the Earth Sea series. But I don't even have the first book, and I don't particularly love these books. They were like discarded, and I don't know. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these. The buy-sell trade store isn't even going to want these books, so they're going to go to Little Free Library. The Man in the Iron Mask, I'm just not interested in this anymore. The Secret of the Old Clock, I already have this book, but I have an edition that I prefer. I don't know that it's nicer, but it's more like vintagey, so I'm getting rid of that. I don't know. Sometimes you just don't know with the classics whether or not the buy-sell trade store will want them. So it doesn't hurt to just see if they're interested, and then they will probably most likely take that one. Then I have this copy of East of Eden. I literally just found this for free, and I thought, hey, I know it's this duplicate copy, but maybe I would be more inclined to just go ahead and write all over it if I wanted. And it's, it's a little bit smaller, a little bit floppier, so I went ahead and just brought it home, but you know what? I don't need another copy. So I don't know that they would be interested in it because this is falling out. I could just leave this out and go see if they want to purchase it, or maybe just send it to a little free library. The Life of Pi. I went ahead and just watched the movie the other day. The movie was okay. But I'll tell you right now, it's definitely not the kind of story that I'd be interested in reading, so that's going to be unhauled. A Walk in the Woods. This is just kind of like a travel journal, this guy's journey while he's walking the Appalachian trails. These two books go together. This is The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry and The Love Song of Miss Queenie Hennessy. And I guess it's supposed to be like a love story, and it did seem like it could be very heartwarming and fulfilling. But I've just lost interest. This is the second book in the series, and this is a story about vampires. I think that I was specifically very drawn to it because of the fact that it's about vampires, but I don't even have the first book in a series, and I just don't want to hold on to this book, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it, but I am probably going to make a note to look and see if my library doesn't carry this series. The Last Checkmate, just not interested anymore. Miss Graham's Cold War Cookbook. This book is just so big. I think the coolest thing about this is that there are like recipes in this, but I don't know if that seems a little bit gimmicky. As far as just the story goes, it's kind of big for the type of book that it is. And I do think that if I'm still interested in it, my library has it. The Iron Trader. This one has been a difficult choice to get rid of because I do really want to read this series. But this is like one of the ones way far down on the list to read. And right now it's just taking up space. And I may not even like the series. Deadly Little Scandals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. The first book is Pretty Deadly Things or Pretty Little Things. I'm not even sure what the first one is in the series, but I know that I can get them from my library. It is a series that I am interested in reading. I have really liked this author before. Oh, Little White Lies. Little White Lies was the first in the series. And like, look at these girls. Like, they're carrying shovels. So I think this is going to be a really fun book, but I also think that I don't necessarily want to hold on to this. I might try to actually scope out my library for this series. It's probably going to be a time coming. I've been kind of mentally thinking, oh, I should get to that book because I have this book on my shelf. If I'm really just going off of what I immediately want to read right now, this isn't necessarily it. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this one. On the Bright Side. This is a sequel also. I think I was definitely taken by the cover because, like, I love that kind of art style. This is kind of a spy novel. I don't even know. The Thomas Mann Reader. This is just a big old book. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Actually, I need to make sure that my son doesn't still want this book. Hawthorne, Selected Tales and Sketches. I just don't think I'm going to get to this. This is a duplicate copy. This is also a duplicate copy, but I did kind of think in the back of my mind that like maybe this is a good copy to kind of write all over and highlight and stuff like that. But like, I really don't have any reservations to doing that to the books that I own. Like, I don't know. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. So, Inferno, have a better copy. Othello, same. I have better Victorian poetry. I have so much poetry. It's coming out my ears. And I don't particularly love the Dover Thrift editions. Same with this one. English romantic poetry. Oxford short poems. I just have so much poetry, like for real. Death of Ivan Illich. I have a better copy. A book that has a bunch of other stuff in it as well. These Collins classics. This is something I've been saying for a really long time that together I love these, but I don't love these on my shelf. They're such a weird shape and they're really stiff. I don't think they're going to be very enjoyable to read. I've seen them when you've cracked the spine. Like the spine just gets thrashed. So I just don't necessarily want these. I did keep a few others just because they're stories I haven't read yet. But these are essentially duplicates. I have them in much better editions that I prefer. So I kind of think I was keeping them because they went with a set of similar like covers and editions. And that's just ridiculous. So I'm going to sell these back. The Portrait of a Lady. I've actually heard this is really good. I might set this one aside. And if I don't read it by the time, I'm going to test it out and see. The Three Musketeers. I might just, again, kind of do like a soft unhaul. I heard someone say that, a soft unhaul in one of their videos. And it's like, I don't want it on my shelves anymore. But like, I still need time to consider. So that's kind of where we're at with those. All right, moving on to some big books. We've got Wilderness Warrior. My God, this is massive. I have been holding on to this book. I wanted this book because we went to the Theodore Roosevelt Ford estate, and it was such an incredible trip. I was so amazed at just how smart this man is, and everything he's done in his lifetime, and the estate was just such an incredible experience to go and see. And then I saw this book and I was like, oh, cool, you know? Doesn't hurt to learn more about this guy, but I have to be real with myself, cutthroat with myself. Am I going to sit down and read this book? No. Halloween, this is, I want to say it's like a horror. I don't know. Like, this is the second in a series. Basically lost interest. The Duke and I, the first in the Bridgerton series. Honestly, this wasn't as engaging as watching the TV show. The TV show is a lot more dramatic, and I didn't finish it, so I'm going to get rid of it. I didn't think it was going to be really the book for me either. It was kind of more of an experiment. Twin Peaks. What a cool book, okay? Very, very cool. I don't know what I'm doing with this book. This is like the accompaniment novel to go with the TV series or something. Fantasy Dream Team. I really got this for my kids because I thought it would be really fun. It's actually a game, and you go through and you like pick your dream team and through different presidents. They have these really cool illustrations, And then they have quick facts about these presidents. And then they have the Dream Team rating. And so they have this like scoreboard at the bottom that we never quite figured out how to play this game. And I don't think that we're going to. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of it. The Great Gatsby. I know, why am I getting rid of this? You know, because I'm probably never going to read this book again. I personally feel that this book is really overhyped. I enjoyed it, but like, just overall, it's kind of overhyped. Just my opinion. Island of Hope. This is a gorgeous book about Ellis Island, but like, I don't think I'm going to read it. Woo, that is going to fall. Prince Lestat, The Vampire Chronicles. This is a massive book. The other books that I own, oh, here comes Aaron. The other books that I have in this series are mass market paperbacks. This book isn't supposed to be read till quite far in the series, and I literally haven't even read book 3 yet. So it's going to be so long until I even get around to reading this book, if I make it that far. So I'm unhauling it. Okay, the next 4 books kind of go together. Very much the same reason why I'm getting rid of that other book. A Murderous Procession, The Pirate Queen, Marie Antoinette, and Queen Isabella. There might be another one in there as well. I've just been carrying these books around for a really long time, and yes, I'm still fascinated in these stories and these histories, but again, I just don't think I'm going to sit down and read all of these books. And I know that I can get all of their stories from watching documentaries and stuff like that. And then in particular, like Marie Antoinette, I feel like I've seen a lot of stuff about her life that already, and I did actually start reading Queen Isabella. Queen Isabella and the Pirate Queen sound like incredible women. Just at least unhinged, if nothing else. Just really interesting stories. But going into this, it was just so much nitty-gritty details that I just don't think that, I don't need all of those details, but I'd still like to know the most important things about their lives. So, Unhaul. Hannah's War is one that I started to read, but I got really bored with it, to be honest. It wasn't a good start. I got really bored with it. I'm not going to read it. Chapelwood. This is also by Sherry Priest, who wrote the Bone Shaker series, and I'm really interested in reading those. It's very steampunk. And this is supposed to be the Borden Dispatches, and it takes the story of Lizzie Borden and somehow is a retelling. And there's something about it that just was very interesting at first, and I was like, no freaking way. Because if you don't know, my husband's family are descendants from Lizzie Borden's, the Borden line. It takes place in Birmingham, Alabama as well, which I live in Alabama. I live in North Alabama. And then some sort of malevolence is going on, and it's attracted to the darkness of Lizzie Borden, which I guess they're still kind of going with the whole, like, she's dark or has darkness. I just don't think I'm really going to enjoy it that much, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. The Lynette Bird, just a historical fiction, not really into it anymore. The Maid of the White Hands, I forgot. You know what, it doesn't really matter. I've decided that I'm just really not into that anymore. A book about Elizabeth I, Russia and the West under Lenin and Stalin. Anthony and Cleopatra. This book is just massively huge. Again, that's what documentaries are for. Empire Express, again, massively huge. Same issue. And we're almost done. Serpent and the Wings of Night. I tried so hard. I wanted to love this book. And it's supposed to be a slow burn romance and all that kind of stuff. But the more I read this book, the more I felt that it was just so stupid. So I'm DNFing this book. My Plain Jane. This is just way too silly and goofy and a kind of slapstick humor that I'm just not about. I will get good credit for this though, because it is also a signed edition. It's an Owl Crate signed edition, so. A Christmas Carol Murder. I don't know. This past Christmas, I was like, ooh, let's read Christmassy books, and like, the British are coming. I'm just not gonna read it. Alright guys, I think I had a very successful spring cleaning unhaul, and I have a lot more space on my shelves, and I'm just really kind of honing in on books that I will actually read and love, instead of books that I think I should read. It sounded interesting. Most of those books are in incredible condition, minus a few that are just going to go to a little free library, so I'm really curious to see how much credit I'm going to get for them. The only thing is the way the store that I go to does it is, if you're trading in like a nonfiction, she gives you nonfiction book credit. And I just don't know that I want more nonfiction credit. I might actually try to see what Second and Charles will give me for those books first before I take them over, because Second and Charles has been kind of picky about what they're taking, and they don't give me as good of credit. Okay, I forgot this other stack of books. I had kind of taken them off the shelves because I wanted to either decide whether or not they're worth keeping or if I should just get rid of them. But I think now that they've been sitting there for a little over a week now. Has it been over a week? Probably longer, actually. The idea was I wanted to read the first chapter or two just to see if they're worth keeping. But I feel like more and more I'm just resolved to get rid of them. The Egyptologist by Arthur Phillips, Breaking the Tongue. I think this looks like it's probably Chinese story. The Orchid House, I think because of the fact that this takes place in a house, it makes me think it's maybe more of like a gothic style. Escapist reading for lovers of historical fiction. I'm not sure that I am. I love fantasy, but some of them do stand out, and I think especially if they have Artemisia. This seems still so good. I read the first chapter of this, and I think I do want to read this, but I'm going to keep it out until I read it. Same with this one, Object of Virtue. I'm not going to reshelve it. It's going to stay out until I finish reading it. The General and His Labyrinth, I really don't think that I'm going to like this book because I have not really liked much of this author's work, but I just have to give the first chapter a try. But this is one that I have a friend that I'm going to give it to when I decide I don't want that one anymore. And then I have The Dutch Wife, Blackbeard the Pirate. I think I'm actually just going to go ahead and get rid of this. Napoleonic Revolution, that too. This one I feel like is going to be really interesting. Stalin's Daughter. This is not a political story, but a quest for love in the heart of darkness. Who is Svetlana? Little girl, her father's only daughter, his little sparrow, instructed to bury her secrets in her heart by her mother, who shot herself soon after. An observer as her relatives were mercilessly killed and her first love exiled. A woman who tore through relationships with men, joined and abandoned various religions, and became the most famous defector to the United States. Victim of the inescapable truth, you are Stalin's daughter. You can't live your own life. You can't live any life. You exist only in reference to a name. Yeah, that sounds absolutely crazy. But this is also a crazy long-ass book too. Man. I might hold on to this a bit longer and maybe put it up there with my other Russian Schindler's List. And Bloody Mary. When Bloody Mary was first published in 1978, it was met with an extraordinary critical acclaim. Oh, this book is a brilliant portrait of Mary Tudor, daughter of Henry VIII and Catherine of Aragon. All right, while I was cleaning up my library and I was putting away some new books, I realized some other books that I'm going to get rid of. And it's going to be shocking, but hear me out. I can't believe I'm actually doing it myself, but nevertheless, here we are. This is where I'm having issue, okay? So this is my new book, and there's no space. Well, down here, I see potential for space if I get rid of these books. I know the last 3 books of the Throne of Glass series, but the rest of the series is all paperback, and I just finished this last year. I'm not going to be returning to this series for quite a long time, so by the time I get back around to it, I might be able to find these in paperback. So that's why I'm getting rid of these. And I'm going to move my Sarah J. Maas books down here. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, there we go. Everything moved around. If I get rid of those books, and I'm not going to lie, I'm not sad about it. I'm really not. These last 3 books were just really difficult to get through when I was reading them. I didn't super enjoy them to begin with. I still want to have them, but I don't want these books, these particular books. These are also incredibly heavy. And then these other 2 little ones, Odriel's Heirs, I've been holding on to these for a while, and I just don't think I'm ever going to get to them. So there we are. Hello, hello. Very nice. All right, I've made even more cuts. Okay, this is a series that I talked about a little bit ago. I still might try to read book 1 and just see how it goes, but either way, it's like combustible. I'm either going to read it or I'm not at this point. I'm more leaning towards not, but this is the Witcher series. I played the first little bit of The Witcher and I really liked it, so I was like, ooh, I want to read the book. All right, so we have the first 3 books of the Witcher series. But yeah, I've heard that like a lot of female readers are saying that just the way he portrays females in this is just really tiresome, and I'm finding that I'm really getting irritated with that. I do know that there is like, at least from the game, there's definitely a lot of like nudity and stuff like that. I just don't know that I'm very interested in it at the end of the day, so that's pretty unfortunate, but you know what? There's so much other things to read. So Wildwood Dancing, I read this, I loved it, but like I don't think I'd ever reread it. I just enjoyed it, so that's gonna go. 100-Year-Old Man jumps out a window and disappeared. I think I've lost interest in this 100%. I was interested. I don't know why this seemed interesting to me. I guess it sounded really quirky and funny, but I just don't think it's gonna be for me. Bringing Up the Bodies. This is a book about Anne Boleyn, and I just like, I just don't even care. I really sorry don't. Remains of the Day. I don't think I would read this book. I watched the movie. I thought the movie was fine. But just, I'm over it. So, all right. This was kind of a difficult decision. Oh, wait. I have one more. One more book, same author. I'll go grab it. But the first one is My Year of Rest and Relaxation. I've read this already, and it was just fine. Like, would I reread it? No. Loving Frank, this is, I guess when I picked it up, I thought it was something completely different. I have no idea. But this is about a love affair between Frank Lloyd Wright and somebody, or Frank Lloyd Wright's wife and a coworker's husband. I don't really know, but it's about 2 people cheating on their spouses. And I get it. It's Frank Lloyd Wright. He's notorious, but honestly, I don't care. Eileen. I think I'm going to go ahead and unhaul this book. I don't think that it's going to be the book for me. I watched the movie the other day and I thought, if this is really quirky and unhinged, like I'll read the book. But to be honest, the movie was just fine and it is a little bit unhinged, but I don't think I'm going to get around to actually reading the book. So I'm going to get rid of it. And I am on a roll. I got to quit because I got to go make dinner. And B, I better quit before I get rid of all of my books because this is honestly too much fun. It is Saturday the 29th. There are 2 days left of the month. I want to do a follow-up of the spring cleaning unhaul and tell you what they got, how many books I'm left with, and some of the trade-in that I got so far. So first of all, I brought home way too many books. I was hoping that they would take more, just not necessarily for the monetary gain or the trade-in value, but just so I didn't have to bring them home. So I took 1 bag plus 2 extra books to Second and Charles. They ended up taking all of the books. I was so pleased. I took all of the historical nonfiction to them, and they gave me $13 in credit, which not the greatest trade-in value, just depending on, like, because there's probably at least 13 or more books that I had given them. I think if they didn't take them, they were probably going to go to little free libraries anyway. The other books I took to the other store that I go to, I had 3 bags that were super full, and 2 of those bags are like giant bags, the really big bags. I would estimate that she took about half of the books, and I got incredible credit altogether, about $50 worth of credit. I think, because I might have had some credit left over from the last time, and I think she just told me when I went to check out how much credit I had left or something, and I can't tell if that was before my purchase or after the purchase. I think it was after the purchase. So 2 books with my trade-in credit, but I still have like $50 more to spend there. I just didn't find anything at the time, so there's that. And then today I actually went this morning because it was news to me. I didn't know that Second and Charles had a penny a page sale. So I got some more books this morning at the penny a page deal, and then a couple others that weren't part of the deal, but it would not have behooved me to do it that way. And I want to share those books that I got. So I ended up with 3 books from my trade-in value for the $13. And those books are The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab. I don't know a whole lot about this book. It's not part, I don't believe it's part of that other series. What is it called? Shades of Magic. Yeah. It's not part of the Shades of Magic series, but yeah, I'm really happy to get this. They wanted $5.75 for this, and like sometimes I think they're priced too high, but sometimes their books are like really good priced. The boys are coming in the door.
Anyway.
Hi, sorry.
It's not raining.
Well, I'm just filming a quick video before we go, so don't mind me. Huh?
Yes, where do you see the box?
Also, don't mind me, I'm super red-faced because it's incredibly warm and I've been running around cleaning and getting ready for this weekend. It's really loud because my son has his friend over for sleepover and all that stuff, and yeah, it's kind of crazy right now around here, so please just ignore that. The next book I got is What Big Teeth by Rose Sabaro, and this book was $3.25. I think if it was much more, I probably would have passed on it, but it felt like it was a very cheap, very reasonable price. I mean, reasonable is kind of an understatement. This book is in absolute perfect condition, but I listened to this book on audiobook many years ago. I won't say many years ago, but a long time ago when I lived in Florida. And I remember really liking it, but then like it had to get returned to the bookstore because it had the audiobook, so it got returned to the bookstore before I finished it. And I just kept thinking about this book, like I want to read the physical copy, so I'm really glad I have a copy of this now. And then the other one is the first book in the Earthsea trilogy series. The first book in the Earthsea series, A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin, and this book was $2.70. So that was the second in Charles with the trade-in credit. These next 2 books I picked up with at the other bookstore that I go to. The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This is the first in that series. Funny enough, I really hope that I like this book series because you'll see I got the entire series. But I really hope that I like it because I read this a long time ago when we first moved into our house. I want to say in Colorado because I was painting my son's nursery when I was listening to this. When we first moved into our house in Florida. Was it Colorado or Florida? Maybe it was Florida because I was also painting my son's room. I will say that was before I actually read any other kind of fairy lore stuff. So I didn't really understand fairy lore, and I was just so confused by why people like this. I was like, this is the most unlikable character. Like, I don't know, I just didn't like it. A friend had suggested that I actually start with the series that came before this, which is the Modern Fairy Tales or something like that. The first book is like Tithe, and there's Valiant. And she says that kind of introduces Holly Black's take on fairy lore. And then read these. So that is the plan. I do really want to do that, and I want to give this. So I'm thinking about doing like a whole Holly Black fairy series and reading through all of the books. And then I got the 5th book, The Dance of Dragons, A Dance with Dragons. Okay, now the next stack of books are books that I got at the penny a page sale. The first 2 I did not use as that credit, but that is The Faithless Hawk by Margaret Owen. I have the first book, which is Merciful Crow, so I went ahead and picked up the second one. This book was only $3.25. And it didn't make any sense to use this as a penny a page because I think the book is only, so the book is $3, or the book is 388 pages, so it didn't make any sense to use the deal on that. Then we have Sight Witch. This is the 3rd book in the Witchling series. What is it called? The Witchlands series. I was actually surprised how much shorter this one is, but this book was only $2.75. This one also obviously did not make any sense to use. 233 pages, so yeah, that didn't make sense. The Wicked King This book was $5.95. Not the hugest savings. I think I saved a couple of dollars, $3.28. So, but that's okay. Still savings. Then I got The Queen of Nothing. This book was originally $6.50 and I paid $3.08 for it. Then we have Dead Things Are Closer Than They Appear by Robin Wassley. And this was originally $9.95 and I paid $4.03 for that. Then I have Thistlefoot. This book came in the biggest savings. This was $14.95 and I paid $4.35 for this one. And then this one is super fun, also incredible savings, but I'm so excited that I found this book. And that is Buffy the Vampire Slayer's Sunnydale High School yearbook. Yep. And so it has all these things like what people at her school, we're going to read this one, the angel would have written. Buffy, I have lived many years and never before had the chance to write in a yearbook. You gave me this and much more. As long as I am on this earth, what we had lives on in me, Angel. I love that. Okay, so they actually didn't rent. I would have paid full price for this anyways, but it was $5.55, but I only had to pay 89 cents for it. So even better. And then throughout they have, all right, here is Oz and his band, and it says, a failed attempt at a fourth chord. Oz. The bronze never paid us. Yeah, super cool find. I love that. It's going to go on my Buffy shelf. All right, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye.